Hello and welcome to another video, this time on how to create an Ansible role from scratch and deploy and run it with a deploy file. So I'm going to go over all the steps that we need to cover. Again, everything is in a nice easy gist for you to follow along. Now this gist and all of the contents is kind of complete, but the way I'm going to do it is we're going to build it up layer by layer and do step by step. So we're going to create the role, we're going to set up the tasks and use kind of best practice on how we do that. We're going to add templates with some Ansible facts. We're going to set up some handlers for when things change and they can be restarted. We're going to make the whole thing idempotent so that the tasks only run when they need to if something changes. We're not just going to run it every time. And then we're going to show how variable precedence works. So we're going to use a default value, then we're going to use the local role variable, and then we're going to break that out and use group vars all in the main section where I'm running the role from, and you'll see which one takes precedence over another one. It's quite a good thing to know if you're doing anything with variables in Ansible, so you understand where it's going to run from. So we're going to go through all that. If you don't know how to install Ansible or you've got other questions, check out my channel. We've got a whole load of videos and all my meetup groups and all their chats on there. There's loads and loads of stuff on there to keep you busy for ages. If you want to know how to do things like Jenkins pipelines or how to do CIS compliance, there's some videos on there. Even how to create an Azure instance. So just pop along, subscribe, like the videos you like. There's some great stuff on there. Okay, so let's crack on straight away. So the first thing we're going to do, I've created a demo directory. There's nothing here. We're just going to create a roles directory. So everything lives inside a roles directory. Again, it's real time, so just skip the bits you don't want to see. Some of it you may know, you may want to skip onto the variable precedence at the end. So I'm going to create a directory called roles, cd into roles, and then from here we're going to use Ansible to create the role for us. We're going to call it webserver. Nice and simple, probably done it a million times. That creates it. If we look at tree for webserver, so this is the default layout. Everything is there, and I do something similar here. So as you can see, so we've got the roles, we do the init, and we've done tree web server, so we can see what we've got. So next we're going to set up our main.yaml, so everything's in the right place. So I'm going to go back and do everything now from our default directory. So here we've got a roles directory, so if we vi into roles and web server and then into tasks and into main, I'm going to edit this file. So I'm not going to create one massive main.yaml file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce a loop which is going to look at an install.yaml and a configure.yaml. This is because I feel it's best practice to break out the individual tasks into their own separate components. It makes it easier to manage. If you need to make updates, it's only a small update in one file as opposed to maybe changing a large file. There's loads of advantages, but this is how I like to run this. So here we go. So I'm just going to cut and paste this in. We've already got the first three hyphens. So the first thing I do is set paste, because I haven't set my Vim variables yet. So if I paste inside, it all goes a bit strange. Let me make it slightly bigger. There we go. I should be able to paste that. Right, so what we're doing here is we're just literally including tasks, and the web server tasks refer to this loop control variable here, web server tasks, and then it's actually looping around in install.yaml and a configure.yaml. So if we save this, and then I don't know why that's changing size, let's make that a bit bigger. Right. So now what we'll do is create the install and configure files. So vi. So in the same place, I'm going to call it install.yaml, whatever it was called in the other file. And in here, we are going to add in the tasks that we need for this to work. Will it paste? No, wait. Let's undo that. I really should update my Vim settings. Okay, so this is just going to use yum to install Apache. We're going to manage the service HTTPD, and we're going to make sure it's started, and then we're going to add a firewall rule. I mean, it could disable firewall D, but it's best practice really to just enable it for HTTPD. So I'm going to leave this one hashed out for now, and we'll come back to this. I'll come back to this in a minute when I set up the notify, because notify will go to a handler and the handler will then do a restart. So I just want to get a few other things in place first. Okay, so next up, there's a few files here. Ansible.cfg, this is like the configuration file for Ansible, for your local version of Ansible running. There's a few things you can add. We're going to add defaults, and we're just going to add in inventory equals hosts.ini. So I haven't actually created that yet, but what this means is when we run Ansible locally, we don't have to declare where the inventory file is. It just looks in Ansible.cfg, sees that it's already configured and the location, and it looks for that file. I don't have to add it in. It makes my command line much shorter. Save that. Okay, let's VI the host.ini file. So this will exist. So again, use your own information. This is all mine. So your users, your keys, your IP addresses, they're going to be wrong. But what we're doing is we're creating a web server group inside our inventory, and we're adding the internal IP address of our AWS server that we're going to use. We're also giving it some variables, so webserver : vars, and then we're using the Ansible user to, that's the user we're going to connect as, and then we're going to use this private key here to supply credentials. So save that file. Okay, and we also need a deploy file. So whenever I run a role, I call it a deploy file. You could call it a provision file. You can call it anything you want. It doesn't matter. But the deploy.yaml is where I run my tasks from. So let me copy this in. So this is true of all kind of playbooks. So instead of running a playbook and having all this information at the top and having all your tasks, we're sectioning it out to roles. So the roles have the tasks in, and this is a section that tells it where to run and what to use. So we're calling it deploy web server. It's going to run against the hosts in web server, so there could be more than one. That web server is the group name in the host.ini file. Become true because we're going to be installing software. My EC2 user has got sudo privilege to root, so we're going to do become true. So when I run a yum command, it will just install httpd and then manage the service. And then the role itself is called web server. So if you were to create other roles, you would also just list them here underneath this in exactly the same fashion. So we're going to save that. And right, now we need to create a template, but let me have a quick look at roles, web server, tasks, install. So we can see here, yeah, so we're just going to install it here. So let's actually just run that now on my server. So it's, yeah, so we're just going to do Ansible-playbook deploy.yaml. We don't need to supply an inventory file or any users because all those variables and that everything like that's been taken care of for us. So if we just run this, it should connect locally. And right, yeah, we didn't actually create this. Let's create the file. So vi roles web server tasks and then configure.yaml. Just save that. Doesn't have to be anything in it. Let's do a deploy. Okay, because it's empty, it just ignores it. So we're going to install the latest version of Apache. We're going to start the service. We're going to add to the firewall rules. So brilliant. So let's just go to our web server. Let's get the IP address. I'll just get that off screen 1 second. Okay, got the IP address. Pop that in. There. So now we get to the HTTP server test page, which is great, which means that it's installed our server, installed our package, started the service. It's added the firewall, or that hasn't restarted, so the port's open and we can now get to it, which is excellent. Okay, so what's next? So now we need to go into the configure side. So if we go back to our file and we look at the configure.yaml, and now we are going to manage the web page with a template. Oh God, I do need to fix this. Okay, so what we're going to do is there's a templates directory, so we're going to create an index.html.j2, and that is the destination, which once it's put in place will then display instead of the the test page that we can see here. So let's save this, and then if we vi, go into the templates directory, and we are index.html.j2 to keep everything the same. And then I've given a block of code here, so just take that code, and I'm just going to hide this one here. So where it says message brought to you by, I'll add this back in later. Let's call this first. Here we go. Right. So we've got the template. We do need to add in a restart HTTPD. So what we'll do, let's go to the handler and the main, and in here let's add in the handlers that we need to add. So one is for the restart of HTTPD and the other one is for the restart of the firewall. Go in there, and we'll also look at the tasks for install, and we'll unhash that. Okay, so I think I've done everything. Let's run it. There it goes. Let's see if I've got everything. So this should now put our page in place with the right template. Yeah, okay, that's done. So it's running the restart of HTTPD. Didn't do anything to the firewall also because it's already open. Excuse me, it's already added. So now if we go to the test page and refresh, here we are. So we're now back. So obviously I've got a slight mistake here. Ah, yes, I'm missing a chevron, but I can fix that. So this is our first thing. So we haven't put in a default variable yet. So let me fix that straight away. It's in templates. So it needs that. Save that. Might just run it again just to make sure it disappears. Luckily this is quite a small role. Okay, so if we update that, yeah, it's gone. So this is the first thing that we're using, and we see here that we've used Ansible host name as well. So that's there. Okay, so let's go back. What's next on the list? So we're going to add a variable. So if I go into roles, web server, defaults, main.yaml, and I'm going to create a variable. So nice and simple. Variable, we're going to go for number 1. Actually, let's keep it to the document. Let's go for 2. Is that right? No, it's 1. So I'll have that as 1. And then if I go back into the template, and this time get rid of first and add in variable, it's going to pick up variable 1 in our defaults. So this is the section on variable precedence. So if we just run the playbook, quick cup of tea while that runs. There's been a change, so it picks it up, restarts the service. So we can see here that we've got variable 1 now. So now let's update. So instead of using defaults, let's use vars. Now vars has a higher precedence to defaults. So if we go into main, this one, let's do variable, and we'll call this one 2, so we know where it's coming from. Let's run it again, so we don't have to touch anything else. We've updated a variable, we're deploying Ansible, we're running our role, it's picking up this new variable because of variable precedence, and that's then being pushed out. So yeah, so it's now changed to 2. So let's go again. So this time we're going to, in my directory, I'm going to create a group vars directory. So make directory group underscore vars, and then vi. So this here will take the name of our host group called web server. So let's vi group vars web server. I want that. Vi group vars web server. So it has to be the same name. If I put web servers in, it won't work. So webserver.yaml, make it a proper file, and now that we're going to do variable free. Okay, so now that's updated, what do you think is going to happen? Make a guess. So group vars from this section, will it override the vars for the role? So let's see what will happen. Let's run the deploy. So interestingly, nothing happened. So if we look here, we do a refresh, it's still 2, so it's still taking the local role variable, not the default vars, but the actual variable for the role. So if we were to take that out, so we just hash out vars and run again, it should now ignore vars because it's obviously hashed out, ignore defaults because the group vars variable precedence is greater than default but less than vars. So we can see something's changed. Let's do an update. It's now free. That's an important lesson there. So if you have anything in group vars at this level, but you're overriding it with vars in the role will win. So you have to be very careful where you're setting your variables, otherwise you'll get the wrong behaviour and you'll have to try and work out what's happened. And in this small example it's easy, but as soon as you start looking at a role or multiple roles doing multiple bits of work, it can get quite complicated and a bit tricky to find. So that brings us to the end of the demo. I hope you enjoyed it. The precedence is quite interesting, how Ansible decides what trumps what, and it's really important to know exactly how it does that. So like I say, don't forget, check out all my other videos. I hope you enjoy going through this one and seeing the role. Check out the gist with all the information in, and I will see you in the next video. Have a great evening. Cheers.